Fashion designer Vera Wang says her success came later in life. This is so interesting. In an interview with CNBC, Vera says she didn't start her own wedding gown business until she was 40. She was getting married. She couldn't find a wedding dress she liked, so her father encouraged her to make and sell her own designs, which has now become the Vera Wang Bridal. It's a multi-million-dollar empire. Life also got better for Samuel L. Jackson, who was cast in Jungle Fever at 43. Morgan Freeman also didn't land his first major acting role until he was 52. Jane Lynch got her big break as Sue Sylvester on Glee at 49. Leslie Jones didn't even get cast on SNL until she was 47. Julia Child released her first cookbook when she was 49 years old and got her own TV show a year later at 50. And my favorite of all time, Lucille Ball, was 40 when her iconic show, I Love Lucy, first aired. I'm turning 40 in January, and that just gave me a lot of peace.
Why?
Because I think society makes you feel like if you are past 35, you're geriatric.
Well, I think that's silly. I don't think we should listen to that. I was talking to a buddy before the show today, and I was like, it's so interesting that it seems like it's really just American society. We take our older people and just shove them aside.
We do.
You look at Hispanic cultures,
Asian cultures.
Italian, they value, grandma lives in the house and they listen to them. Here we're just like, whatever, grandpa. I'm like, why do we take people that have the most amount of life experience and look at them like, yeah, but let's hear what this 19-year-old kid has to say that was raising his hand to go to the bathroom in high school 3 years ago. I want to talk to an adult. I want to see how you failed 3 times before you made it. And I feel like companies that have not only experienced failure, but also may have gone through life so they understand, hey, my employees got a sick kid. I've dealt with that.
Right.
You know, rather than somebody being like thinking that, you know, you just have to drive through life because you're 20 and you don't have any responsibilities.
Erica?
I think there's value in both. I think there's value in the optimism and also innovation of youth. And I think that there's value in the wisdom and experience of people who are a little older. I think where things really get conflated and conflicted are when we're seeing visual representations on social media, right? Now, for the 3 of us, we're getting to the point in our lives and our career where our peer group might consist of people who are 10, 15, 20 years younger than us, but they're still working around and in the same industry. So when you're working together and as colleagues, it does appear that you should be farther along as some of your colleagues are, but you have to remember that time can breed more in terms of your wisdom, your education, your resources. So I think at the end of the day, people should just be really great at where they are and how they're doing things, because ultimately when you're looking 10, 20 years down the line, all those names that you were mentioning are iconic household names. So there's value to being a late bloomer, and there's value to, you know, having it somewhat together younger.
That's such a good point. I'm also a really competitive person, which is what you're saying. Like, I'm always comparing myself to who's done it earlier, who's done it before. And there's a quote that I want to give our DBL Nation that really helped me, and it just said, "The race is long, but in the end, it's only with yourself." You're not really running with other people. You're just really running with yourself.
That's why I'm really happy that I'm 40, I'll be 44 at the end of the month. I'm glad I have one foot in the digital and one foot in the analog world, because I lived in my 20s, which is great, at a time when there was no social media pressure.
Right.
So I just took my 20s and partied my face off. I didn't care what my peers are doing. I was in Miami having the time of my life, and I have no regrets because that made me who I am. So I really do think that there's a part of that, and I think that there is a little bit of shaming with you know, what are you doing with your life kind of stuff. I think you got to figure out your path. Have fun.
Yeah, everyone, you're doing well. Just round of applause for everyone today.